Okay, so first of all, I enjoyed very much the discussion that you wrote on the coins. You had some interesting ideas. I wanted to explicate them a bit myself. Here, as a couple of you pointed out, what's going on? Why are there crosses on the coins? The cross, as you may have read in Watt, is not an image that is part of Islamic religion. On the contrary, in the Quran, God says explicitly that Jesus was not crucified on the cross. And in a hadith, which Watt does not talk about, but I'll share with you, Jesus is reported to have said that whoever was worshiping the cross, he will come back at the end of days and take retribution on for falsely worshiping something that is not God, not God. So we come back to this question: why are there crosses on these Islamic period coins? And I'm going to move on before answering it. Again, this second image, some of you thought was an image of God, and I had to say that's a real. I couldn't help but say to share with you that depicting God or a prophet or a human being for that matter in the form of an image um, classically is a real no-no. And even in late antiquity, I don't know of any representations of God in pictorial form. So, perfectly reasonable guess if you don't know, if you don't know that. But no, it's not God. It is an impressive figure. The One of you actually got it, and I think by perhaps looking around. Well, one of you was right on the money. This is an exact replica of a Sasanian imperial coin with the Zoroastrian fire worship on one side and a picture of the Shah on the other. And so this iconography is purely Sasanian. And so again, the same question: why are the Umayyads? This is Umayyad period. It's not Sasanian period. So it's after the Sassanians are wiped out, but the Muslims continue to put Zoroastrian stuff and the Shah on the coins rather than themselves. So then the question is why? This coin is we're getting a little bit more into Islamic themes now. This is not so easily pegged to a pre-Islamic, to either the Byzantine or the Islamic or the Sasanian Empire, like the first two images. Here you have, and sometimes this one on the left, it looks like, is it someone praying? Is someone about to go prostrate? That's a question. There are debates on these coins. Some of you noted that the quality of the coins makes might bear some comment on their age, but actually, you have these different. You have gold, silver, and fils, like the cheap metal coins, in all these different periods and different mints. So you can't go too much by that. So it's really more like the iconography that we're focused on. This on the other side, it looks like there's Latin characters, right? That's not Arabic. Um, these are Roman characters. So again, we're still in transition here toward a truly Islamic coinage. Now we get something that's really, I love this image. I think it's very cool. Anyway, yeah, this is called something like the scholars come up with names for these different images. This is like the three caliph coin, and a couple of you put this down, but that's the prevailing theory that these are. This is one. Well, the two theories are these are three caliphs, three of the Umayyad caliphs, or the other theory is that one of them is the first one in the foreground is a caliph, and the other two are being led in prayer. And then, as part of that same theory, on the other side, you have what people think is the mihrab, the direction of prayer in a mosque. And the Arabic says there is no God but God alone with the mint data. So in other words, now all of a sudden you've got Arabic writing. You've got Arabic writing. Um, so this is obviously quite a stark development from the prior, and we're really on our way to a fully Islamic coinage. And there's really nothing like it in either the Byzantine or the Sasanian empires, both with the Arabic writing and the iconography, in other words, the images being quite new and distinctive. Again, perhaps building on what came before and having the imperial leader on the, well, assuming that's who it is on one side, but different in that they're depicting them as they are with the, looks like, assuming that's beards, but truly fascinating looking images. And now, again, we've got another Umayyad leader, Umayyad caliph, most likely, again with the "there is no God but God" alone. Um, he was not born and did not get birth, so a Quranic verse alluding an anti-Christian is a verse of the Quran that, in other words, a polemic against the Christians, and they call this the hunting caliph, because it looks like he's got a bow and arrow. So this is again the caliph out in the brush, ready to hunt. At least an I guess those are spears, not bow and arrow. And again, on the other side, the prayer, what people take to be the prayer direction, and you may ask, well, how do they know? They don't. This is partly speculative. There are debates on this. Really, what one would like would be some narrative text which explains it. In other words, you find an old Umayyad primary source or even a Abbasid primary source that talks about the iconography, but we haven't found anything like that yet. And then we find our way finally to the proper, fully developed Islamic coinage. This is Abdul Malik, the Umayyad Caliph's coinage reform, which would be hugely influential. In fact, this is really the way coins would look in most times and places for all of Islamic history. On the one side being no God, there is no God but God alone. He has no partner. The other side, God is one. Praise be to God. Again, here you have the anti-Christian polemic. He is not. He does not give birth, nor is he born. He is one. That's a Quranic verse, again, alluding to a polemic against the Christians. And then you have the mint date and the name of the caliph and the mint place and the margins. So this is the development of Islamic coinage. And to take us back to our initial question, why did they leave, or did they put the Sasanian Shah or the Byzantine leader with the cross on the coins in the first few years before they had developed their own iconography? Well, one simple answer and a very pragmatic answer is the mints were already set up, and you want the mints to keep running. In other words, they wanted to mint coins, so they hadn't. So one possible explanation is simply they haven't gotten around to investing in updating the mints, so they kept minting in the Umayyad period with this older iconography. A related explanation would be that it takes a certain amount of time before you get legitimacy after a revolution, after a big change. And so perhaps you don't want to undermine the currency by changing everything so quickly. So you leave things and you gradually work up to your new symbols, your new values being imparted. And so, as strange as it may seem, the early Muslims kept the Zoroastrian fire worship icons and the crosses on their coins for at least a few years on their way to establishing an independent coinage reform under Abdul Malik. And so I take this as, in a way, metaphoric, because I said at the beginning of the course that, remember, the nature of traditional religions like Islam is they resist admitting that they ever change. There's Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Any traditional religion will assert that things have always been this way from the time of the prophet until the present. It's a point of fact we know things change because you always have to take from what comes previously in order to create something new. So in this case, this is, I think, a very vivid example of change over time with the development of a purely Islamic coinage from materials that came prior to the rise of Islam. So I hope that that's helpful. Thank you.